Welcome everyone. Today I will teach you about the class 10 first chapter, the life process. Now, what is life process? Life process are all the maintenance process to prevent damage and breakdown of body of an organism. In one word, the processes occurs in our body 24 hours. Here is the examples: the nutrition, respiration, excretion, growth, movement. All are the life process. These processes are required to maintain our life process. And we all know that the to maintain life process, we need energy, and we get energy from the food. And basically, to maintain our energy, we basically eat carbon-based food. This is the glucose, carbohydrate, protein, and fat. And by the help of oxygen, this food is broken down, and we get energy. And after that, the unwanted, useless, harmful byproduct is released from our body. This process is known as excretion. Now, we will explain about the first life process. This is the nutrition. Here, it is a process to transfer energy from outside the body to the inside. So we need energy. We have to eat the food, but we have to make our food. Then we get energy, and this energy comes from the environment or food. It is necessary for our body growth, development, synthesis of protein, synthesis of muscle, and other substances. Even though we are inactive, energy is needed to maintain our state of body. That means inactive means when we are in sleep, we also need energy to maintain our basic body function. General requirement for energy and material is common in all organisms, but is fulfilled in different way. That means in plant, it occurs by the photosynthesis. In amoeba, in all other organisms, the process is different. Now, some organisms use simple food obtained from the or inorganic sources like plant absorb carbon dioxide and water, and they make their own food. And for this cause, they are known as autotroph. Some bacteria also in this autotroph, they are known as chemoautotroph, or they are known as cyanobacteria, or photoautotroph. That means they make their food in presence of light, and chemoautotroph, they make their food by the help of chemical. Some organisms directly and indirectly depend upon autotroph, like us. We are dependent upon autotroph like plants. We are known as heterotroph. Fungi are also they are heterotroph. They take their nutrition from the decomposed matter or dead and decaying matter, but they need enzymes. The heterotrophic organism need enzymes. We also need enzymes. By this enzyme, we make complex substances into simpler substances, and for this cause, the enzyme is known as biocatalyst. And the complex substances like carbohydrate or cellulose is converted into simpler one, glucose. Now, how plant make their own food? Firstly, we have to know what is autotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic means the plant take their nutrition from the environment by making their own food. The process is we all know that the photosynthesis, and they make their own food from the simple inorganic material. Simple inorganic material means they make their food from the water and by the help of carbon dioxide. These 6 molecules of carbon dioxide and 12 molecules of water in presence of chlorophyll and sunlight produce glucose as a byproduct of oxygen, and they produce water for transpiration. The photosynthesis only occurs in green plant which contain chlorophyll. Except some bacteria, no animal can make their own food because this chlorophyll green pigment is not present in the organism. And here, carbohydrate provide energy to the plant, and carbohydrate which are not used immediately is stored as starch. Here, you have to remember that the starch is the storage material in the plant, but in animal, the glycogen is the storage material. When animal take their own food from the plant because they are heterotroph, this stored food is stored as a glycogen in the liver and the muscle. And here, this is the leaf structure, and here this is the microscopic structure of the leaf. And here you can see this is the chloroplast molecule in the present in the mesophyll cell. Here it is the biscuit-like structure. This is known as mesophyll, palisade mesophyll, and here the round-shaped structure. This round structure also known as spongy mesophyll. And in between these, there is a small oval cell structure. This is the chloroplast, where chlorophyll is present, and this chloroplast absorb the sunlight from the sun and produce their food in daylight. And this is known as autotrophic nutrition. Here, how this photosynthesis event occurs. Basically, this photosynthesis occur by the three stage. First one, the chlorophyll all know that present in the green leaves, and this chlorophyll absorb the sunlight. After that, the plant convert the sunlight energy into the chemical energy. That means plant convert the sun energy into the chemical energy glucose molecule, and they also make the water molecule which they absorb from the soil, and these water molecules converted into hydrogen and oxygen, and these oxygen produced as a byproduct. And after that, the CO2 in presence of hydrogen produce carbohydrate. Now, again, I will explain the light energy is absorbed by the absorbed by the plant. Then this light energy is converted into chemical energy. How? At first, these light energy break the water, and water is converted into hydrogen and oxygen. This hydrogen molecule reduces the carbon dioxide and produce carbohydrate, and oxygen molecule which convert into oxygen gas. Okay, and this is the most needed stage for every organism. But in desert plant, their temperature in the desert is very high. That as a result, they absorb the carbon dioxide in the night time. And this is the different process. And chlorophyll, they activate during the sunlight. This is a different thing that occurs in the desert plant. Now, here another thing is there in the plant leaf. You can see that the previous slide, you can see that here in the lower surface of the leaf, this is the lower epidermis, and here you can see some spaces. This is known as stomatal pore. Now, this is the stomata. The outside green color structure is epidermal cell, and the bean-like structure is the guard cell, and pore is known as stomatal pore. And by this stomatal pore, plant exchange their gases. They also release the water vapor. This is known as transpiration. And the guard cell is basically open during the daytime and closed during the night time. Okay. That means the stomata has two functions. Number one, the gaseous exchange, and number two, the water law. This is known as transpiration. Autotroph also needs some minerals like sodium, potassium, magnesium, nitrogen, phosphorus, iron, etc. And they are taken up from the soil. Another type of nutrition is heterotrophic nutrition. Heterotrophic nutrition means the nutrition in which an organism depends upon the living organism. Basically, in of the other plant or in the different types of animals. Organisms take and use food by various ways. Some organisms break down food outside the body, absorb it like fungus. They take their nutrition from the bread, yeast, mushroom. Some take their food and break down inside the body, like animals, mammals, vertebrate animals. And some organisms take food from the organism without killing them, but harm them. Basically, lice or different types of worm. They live in or outside the any type of host and take their nutrition. Okay. Now we will explain about the heterotrophic nutrition. The heterotrophic nutrition first example is the amoeba nutrition. At first, the amoeba take their nutrition by the help of pseudopodia. The pseudopodia is a finger-like projection which covers the food particle. Then they make a food vacuole, and in the food vacuole, by the help of lysosome enzyme, this food vacuole is broken down. And after that, these unwanted nitrogenous material is released from the cell surface, and this vacuole formed by the amoeba is known as contractile vacuole. Another unicellular organism is paramecium, which contain a gullet, and the gullet is the space where the food is taken by the hair-like structure present outside the body of the paramecium. This is cilia. And these cilia engulf the food and transfer the food into the gullet region. And the gullet region, the lysosome is present, and this lysosome digests the food. Human nutrition is very much complex than any other type of organism. And here is a simple way where we can take nutrition. At first, we taste the food by the tongue and engulf the food, and the food then goes to the food pipe by the process of peristalsis, the wave-like movement. And this wave-like movement transfer the food into the stomach. And the stomach, the HCl is present. The HCl degrade all the bacteria present in the food, and stomach present in the stomach. The pepsin enzyme is present, digests the protein type of food. And in the mouth, the amylase enzyme is present, and amylase enzyme partially digests the carbohydrate type. The stomach digests protein type of food, and the mouth contain amylase, which partially digests the carbohydrate type. And here you can see the liver and bile. The liver releases bile, and bile is stored into the gallbladder. And this gallbladder transport the bile into the small intestine. And this in the small intestine, the fat type of food, protein type of food, and carbohydrate, all type of food is digested by various enzymes. And after that, the simpler undigested part is transported into the large intestine. In the large intestine, the food water is absorbed, and in the small intestine, the villi absorb the nutrition and transport into the blood. And this nutrition makes our body stronger by producing energy. And at last, the unwanted material is released from the anus after absorbing the water is present in the food. This is the simpler procedure in the human nutrition.